I'm going to edit that part out because I looked stupid. Hello and welcome. My name is Jack Dolinar, and this is How I Write for Money, where I talk about how freelance writers can make a living doing what they love in today's internet economy. Now, this advice doesn't just apply to writers, it applies to all creatives, as does this video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about an incredibly important skill that all writers need to master, and that's the skill of being able to write consistently every day if possible. So let's get into it. Alrighty. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through 4 steps that will take you from somebody who's inconsistent about their writing habit to somebody who can easily, hit their word goal, hit their publication goal every single day. Personally, I publish on a lot of different mediums, through my writing, through my videos, on a daily basis. I have a daily blog that I maintain, which is the minimalistentrepreneur.net. I'll put a link in the description and also somewhere on this video. I am an active writer in several subreddits on the Reddit website for freelance authors and self-publishing writers, and I post daily in a lot of those longer form posts where I'm trying to stimulate conversation and engage with like-minded writers. And I also am starting to publish every single day on my YouTube, which is a huge thing for me. So let me first go into why it's important to be consistent. Now, you must be consistent. This is a given in no matter whether you're a writer, whether you make videos, whether you're an artist. You have to be consistent for several reasons. The first one being, in order to be prolific and to create a lot of content, you need to be consistently creating more work. And it's also just like going to the gym. Everybody who I've ever read, famous authors, famous bloggers, directors, actors, no matter what their field is, high performers always say that you have to be consistent in practicing your craft, and that's the only way to develop your skills and to hone them to reach higher and higher levels. So here are some examples that I'm going to put up for example, and also for motivation of great authors who have been consistent and been prolific in their work, and it's really paid off for them. The first example is obviously J.K. Rowling, the richest author, the most well-known author probably in the world. Her net worth is around $1 billion, and she's published at least 25 different books. Now, the Harry Potter series, which is obviously what rocketed her to fame, was only 7 books turned into 8 movies, but she didn't stop after just writing 7 books. She wrote another, 18 books. And the real lesson there is that just because somebody's made it doesn't mean that they can stop being consistent. Obviously, she could stop, but she's doing what she's passionate about, what she loves, and it's obvious in the fact that she's continued to write even after having so much financial success that she could do whatever she wanted now. Next example is Brandon Sanderson, an extremely well-known fantasy and sci-fi author. He has a net worth of around $7 million, so he's obviously a millionaire, has 24 books. All of them are well-known, well-received. Next example is James Patterson, who's the richest American author. J.K. Rowling, as you know, is British. He's the richest American author with a net worth of around 90 billion, or excuse me, 90 billion, 90 million, and he has around 60 books published. He's been writing for a long time, and he has it down. He has the system down to just just churn out consistently great works, and that's really paid off for him because even though a lot of his books are in the same genre, they're similar. Has such a he has such a good consistency going that he can write similar works, but because he's developed his craft so well, every book is unique and people just love to read them. And then, another extremely well-known author is Stephen King, who has he's an extreme example of just a prolific author. His net worth is around 400 million, which obviously, just like J.K. Rowling, it also comes from having a lot of movie deals. So several of his movies, or excuse me, several of his books have been made into feature-length films, and that obviously really helps to supplement his income. But a huge part of why he's successful is because he's incredibly consistent. He probably writes, he writes thousands of words every single day and just is continually putting out content. So now that you've seen some examples of what your maybe not what your results are going to look like if you're incredibly consistent, but what results here these are some examples of really famous authors that are consistently publishing, that are consistently writing, and that's just some inspiration and motivation for you right there. Now we're going to get into the 4 steps that are necessary for you to turn your writing desires and your writing goals into consistent habits to create success. Step number 1 is you need to have a system in place. I have a picture up here. This is Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk is a serial entrepreneur, angel investor, and the head of a very successful digital marketing firm in New York City. He works with Fortune 500 companies to develop their brand story and get them reach new consumers and customers in the digital age of marketing. And what I have up here is a picture. It's a thumbnail from his daily vlog, which is called Daily V. And as you can see, this is the 101st episode. But the really incredible thing about Gary Vaynerchuk is he is just so consistent, so prolific because he has systems in place. So he's probably published thousands of YouTube videos in his time. Both 10 years ago, he was running his parents' wine company, and he brought it from a $3 million business to a $60 million business just by being consistent and putting out. He was making videos about wine where he compared different wines that he was tasting, and he put out like 900 episodes on YouTube of his wine critiquing videos, and that was enough to bring a $3 million business to a $60 million business. And now he puts out a daily vlog, which is now in its like 350th episode or something, and he's able to do this because he has a system in place. Now, what his system is he goes about his day just talking with, other famous entrepreneurs, business people, and he has 2 photographers and videographers who follow him around, taking pictures of him, writing down his quotes, filming him, and then he has a team that edits together all of that content and puts it on his YouTube and publishes it for him. So he has a team in place that will do that for him, but he's able to put out so much content and to grow so fast. He has like 2 million Instagram followers, 2 million Twitter followers, a million YouTube subscribers. Like, this guy is huge, and it's because he has systems in place to consistently just publish high quality content over and over and over and over and over every single day. You and I, we don't have the budget to have an entire team of editors behind us and 2 camera guys following us around every single day, but we can set up systems that make it easy for us to write and publish consistently. For example, I mentioned earlier that I write a daily blog, and the way that I am able to be consistent with that, because I used to not be as consistent with it, and it would really stress me out, the fact that I told myself I'm going to publish every single day to my blog, and I just wasn't doing it, and it was because I didn't have a system in place. So now my system looks like this, and I have a piece of paper right here, and every morning I write down the 5 things that I do before I do anything else in my day, and those are drink a bottle of water, um, make my bed, because there are actually studies that show if you make your bed every single day, you will be more successful and more productive. So go figure, but that's on my to-do list. And then I read something inspirational, and then I write to my blog, and I schedule it. And another part of my system is automation. So I have 5 or 6 days of blog posts scheduled in advance, and that really takes the pressure off of me so that I don't feel every single day like, gosh, Jack, you should have published, like, you should have published 2 hours ago. You really need to get on your writing, and you really need to write a really insightful and powerful blog post that's really going to connect with your readers. That's just going to stress me out. That just makes me feel really awful. So what I did was, one day I sat down and I wrote 5 or 6 blog posts. And my blog posts are short. They're short. They're meant to be short and insightful and kind of actionable, so that somebody can take a thought that I had that I wrote out, and then they can kind of apply it to the day that they're having, to their life. And so they're not super long articles, but so I wrote out 5 or 6 of them, and I scheduled them. So now I have 5 or 6 days in advance of scheduling, so I never have to worry about today's blog post. All I need to worry about is sharing a thought that I have, or writing down and then scheduling an insight that I stumbled across, or that sprung to my mind. So having a system is one of the major keys to being able to publish consistently, write consistently, and the more consistent you are in this age of reaching a digital audience, the more consistent you are, the better and more quicker. I'm a writer. More quickly you'll be able to grow your audience, and your audience is really where you're going to be able to monetize. Whether you're writing, whether you're drawing, whether you're creating videos, the bigger your audience, the more you're going to be able to monetize. So setting up systems to make it easy for you to be consistent is incredibly important for your future successes. Now, the second step to being able to write consistently is you have to prioritize it. Now, I just showed you, I said these are the 5 things I do before I do anything else. That's because I've prioritized writing to my blog, and I also have writing to some of the subreddits that I am part of the community for, and just giving value to those communities, because writing to my blog and giving value to those communities are very important to me. Right after that, right after I do those 5 things, then I jump into making this YouTube video. This YouTube video is, I guess, technically the 6th thing I've done today. Sort of the first, because those other things are all something I do without even thinking anymore, because I've done them so much. So this is really the first real productivity thing that I've done today, is making this YouTube video. And as I start to make more and more of these daily videos, this is kind of going to slide into that daily ritual zone where I, wake up, make my bed, write a blog post, and then make a YouTube video. And because I'm prioritizing these things, they get done. And something that I've learned, and I've been reading about productivity and time management and efficiency and being successful and being a high performer for years. This is something that I've studied. This is what I'm into, and what I research in my spare time is how to be more productive. And everywhere you go, you see this. It's, you have to do the most important task first thing in your day. Because if you don't, then your family's going to come and invite you to spend time with them, or your friends are going to ask you, hey, do you want to go do this fun thing, or do you want to see a movie, do you want to play a board game, or do you want to go out to a party, or do you want to have lunch? And all of these innocent invitations are pressures on you to go do other things. Or maybe you have a 9-to-5 job that you need to go to, or if you're a university student like me, you need to go to classes. If you don't prioritize and do your writing first thing in the day, it's not going to get done. All right, it's just not. And that's why you need to put it on your list, your to-do list. You need to write it down, you need to put it on your to-do list, and then you need to do it before you do anything else. So step number 2 is prioritize. Step 1 is set up a system, and step number 2 is prioritize your writing in that system so that it gets done every single day. Or you know, when you schedule it, prioritize it so that even if you're not writing every single day, when you do schedule your writing, it's prioritized. Step number 3 is going to be to challenge yourself. And I have a quote here, excuse me, I have a screenshot here of an incredible article. I have the link right there. It's from a blogger that I follow by the name of Tynan, and he wrote a blog post called Love Work, which is one of the most transformational things that I've read. This is a blog post that takes maybe 15-20 minutes to read because it's very long, and I read pretty quickly, so it takes me like 15 minutes to read. It may take other people 20 minutes. I've read this blog post 15 or 20 times, and at a point, at one point for a couple weeks, or I guess a week and a half, I was reading it every single day to wake up and motivate myself because he just has an incredible perspective about how you need to push yourself to be working harder and loving the process of the work. And he has this quote here that I'm going to read about challenging yourself and pushing yourself to the edge of your comfort zone so that you're not only being incredibly productive and putting out more and more content, but you're also pushing the edge of your skill set so that you're always improving as an author or as a writer or as a videographer or as a vlogger or as an artist. You're pushing yourself to the edge of your comfort zone. And so this is the quote. He says, "When you make your plan for the day, overload yourself. You can handle more than you think, and you never want to feel like you don't have something to work on. Make a text file and with a list and notes on everything you can think of that needs to get done. When you see it all, you will feel a sense of urgency because there's so much to do and so little time, but you'll also feel inspired because you'll be able to see things you can tackle immediately and are exciting. Those are the tasks that will get you in the zone, so go for them first." Now, I do have a slight bone of contention with Tynan because I don't believe in overloading myself. As I just showed you, this is the size of my to-do list every single day. I keep it on a small piece of paper because that way, and I write in pretty big handwriting because I know that if I try to put, you know, I I keep my to-do list to 5 things every day. But if I tried to do 6 to 10 things, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've been making to-do lists for years, as many of you have, I'm sure. But when I put 6 to 10 things on my to-do list, not only do I not do 6 to 10 things, but I rarely even accomplish 5 things because the weight of the goals that I set for myself just overwhelms me and just crushes me beneath this mountain of stress, and it just incapacitates me. So what I've learned to do is instead of challenging myself with trying to do 10 things in a day, what I challenge myself in is each individual goal is set so that it pushes me to the edge of my comfort zone and my skill set. For example, doing this YouTube video right now is pushing me to the edge of my skill set because this is the first YouTube video I'm publishing in what's going to be a daily series over the next year, 2018, going to be the year where I'm trying to publish every single day to YouTube. I'm pushing myself to the edge of my comfort zone right there, even if the process of making the video itself doesn't take more than an hour. Also on my list today is I'm going to be writing a short story and publishing it to my Amazon account, and that's part of my income as an author. I'll be talking about that in later videos, certainly. But that's something else. And I don't set a goal of write 10,000 words in a day because that's just gonna be impossible. That's gonna overload me. That's certainly gonna challenge me, but it's gonna do more than that. It's just gonna smash me. So what I do instead is I say, all right, you're gonna write a story of around 3,000 words, and then you're just gonna slap a cover on it, write a synopsis, and publish that to Amazon. And that challenges me certainly because that'll take 4 or 5 hours to do it all right and to create a story that I feel comfortable and confident publishing. So it challenges me, but it doesn't overwhelm me. And that's where I differ, in my opinion, from Tynan. I think that every day an author should challenge himself or herself to maybe write more than they think that they can, or write different than they think that they can, or do something new to push them to the edge of their skill set, because that's where we grow. But don't overload yourself. So step 3 is to challenge yourself every day as you're growing in your consistency of the writing and of creating work, but don't overwhelm yourself. So there's a fine balance that we need to strike there, and that's something that you need to find for yourself. But this is what works for me. Having a small to-do list of 4 or 5 things, along with my morning ritual where I also do some writing and get the creativity juices flowing. So step number 4 is this, and this is one of the most important steps. Reward yourself. Now I have a quote here from Tai Lopez, who is a super well-known, famous entrepreneur, social media marketer, and influencer. And this is his quote. He says, "Use your social life to motivate yourself. Only reward yourself with this if you got your work done. Hashtag work hard, play even harder." Now, you don't necessarily have to use your social life to reward yourself. For example, every morning when I write my blog post, then I let myself have a cup of coffee. So I don't let myself have the coffee until, well, fudging a little bit. Let me take a step back. Tai Lopez says that you should reward yourself with your social life. You don't have to reward yourself with your social life. For example, yesterday, after I did my writing for the day, I let myself watch an episode of Netflix. And, sure, watching an episode of Netflix is probably the quintessential unproductivity, because it's just passively letting entertainment enter your brain. It's not productive, it's not teaching you anything, but it's a reward, and you have that to look forward to get your work done. Now, the reason that I bring up my cup of coffee is because there's a second type of reward that Tai Lopez doesn't talk about that I think is equally valid and equally important to making sure that you can learn to write consistently, and that's this: making the activity itself, making the activity of writing or creation itself a reward. And you do that by creating an environment that makes you happy, and it doesn't necessarily inspire you, but it makes you enjoy the process. So when I write my blog post, every morning I give myself a cup of coffee. I'm an avid coffee drinker. I really love it. I love to have, delicious, high quality coffee. And by giving that to myself as I'm writing, it makes the writing that much more enjoyable. And so I've created a writing environment that I enjoy being in, instead of, trying to pound through writing 10,000 words. I'm getting to enjoy a cup of coffee as I kind of mull over what kind of insight I want to share with my blog today. So rewarding yourself, step 4 of the 4-step process to writing every single day, is rewarding yourself by setting up, first you set up a system, then you prioritize it, and then you challenge yourself. But within that, you need to create a system that is causing you to enjoy the process. So if you don't enjoy the process, it's going to be really, really difficult to motivate yourself every single day to sit down and write. But if there's a reward intrinsic to the experience, it's really going to be a lot easier for you to motivate yourself to enjoy the process. So that's the 4 steps. Set up a system, prioritize writing or creation in that system. Step number 3, challenge yourself. Sorry, blanked out for a second. It's going to happen on video sometimes after I've been talking for 15 minutes. So set up systems, prioritize, challenge yourself, and reward yourself. If you can follow those 4 steps, you're going to be able to start writing consistently. And as you start writing and creating consistently, you're going to start publishing consistently. And once you start publishing consistently, you're going to be able to build up a readership. You're going to be able to start making money, and you're going to be able to start your journey as a freelance author, making money, living life on your terms, and being your own boss, which is really just the most incredible experience that you can live. Thank you so much for spending your time to watch this video. I really hope that it motivates and inspires you and teaches you something to help you start writing every single day, because as a writer, there's no greater feeling than being able to look back and seeing how much you've created, how much you've published, and how much you've shared with your audience. So if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button down below. Please like this video, because that will help me share this content with even more authors who want to start being their own boss in 2018. And please shoot me a comment down below. I'm going to read all of my comments. Please shoot me a comment down below with a topic that, if you yourself are an author or content creator, what kind of questions you have about how to start being your own boss, how to start marketing and selling your work in the coming year, and I will make a video about it to talk about the process that I'm going through trying to market myself and make money as a young and aspiring freelance writer. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.